Right.
All right, so we are here with the fucking Nate that basically signed on. What was it? Two months ago, something like that.
Yeah, it was around like 2.5 months ago, I think. Yeah.
2.5 months ago. He basically joined our partner program where we basically work one on one with clients, and kind of get them in and show them everything that we kind of do at our own agency, give them everything that we kind of do, get them into a private WhatsApp group and help them every step of the way. And yeah, Nate, so quickly, what are you doing? What is it for a business that you're currently running? And then what is it that we're kind of helping with?
Yeah, so right now I'm basically running a lead generation agency, B2B lead generation, mostly for tech and SaaS companies. And you guys are essentially helping me out with like the entire business model, um, just so that I can, you know, do everything quicker, not make the same mistakes, and just know what to do whenever I have a problem. Um, yeah, so I've been doing lead generation for around like 2 years, not as an agency, just like not even knowing what lead generation is at first, just booking meetings for people and getting paid like a certain fee. And there happened to be a catastrophe at the last place that I was working at,
Yeah.
and the whole place just completely like it just shut down. And at the same time, you guys were offering your one-on-one program, so I was like, you guys know what you're doing. So I hopped on that right away and started my own agency. And the last 2.5 months have been pretty insane.
So let's just go back to the beginning before we get into that. What kind of made you got started like 2 years ago doing what you were doing, and how did you kind of get into it, and what was it that you were even doing?
So like my first step into lead generation, I saw like a post on an online forum that some guy was offering jobs to people if anyone wanted to work for helping for his business. And I had no idea about anything about online business or any of that. And I guess what he was doing was kind of illegal, I think. He had like an email list of people who bought like crypto, and he was selling like email marketing to these people for crypto projects.
Yeah.
So it was basically he wanted me to like reach out, find these crypto projects, reach out to them, book meetings, and then I would get paid for the ones that signed on. And like I just didn't read anything, just started doing it, finding these crypto projects, messaging them on Telegram,
Yeah.
like individually, creating like my own first lines. I didn't even know what first lines were. It just made sense to me to like research each project and personalize it. And probably sending out like 10 messages a day,
Yeah.
researching way too much, and booked a couple meetings. Um, a lot of times the guy just didn't show up to the meetings, and then I was like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, so that was kind of your first experience into the whole like booking meetings for other people type.
Yeah, yeah.
And did you then do that for the last 2 years, or did you kind of try some other types of agency models in the space?
Yeah, so after that, I kind of tried, social media marketing agency.
Yeah,
I
the
was
traditional
watching,
kind of marketing agency.
yeah, so I was like watching, these guys, all sorts of SMMA guys on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just do this. Do Facebook ads, which was like the main one. That's so
Yep.
easy apparently back then, which it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was super saturated, and I never got past like the generating clients part. So it was like trying to learn all the different methods to generate clients. So I did that, and then I was like, wait, I don't even know how to deliver this service, and I don't want to be delivering like a shitty service to
How long did you do
anybody.
that for, like the SMMA?
SMMA stuff, I would say like maybe like 3 4 months
Okay.
before I realized like it it just doesn't make, like, it's so saturated with no case studies, it's super difficult to get right into Facebook ads.
Yeah,
And also like you're gonna screw people over because you have no idea what the hell you're doing, right?
yeah, exactly.
So then I started white labeling other people's services. So like people who had case studies, good products, they're gonna handle the deliverability or the delivery of the actual service and product. And I started doing that. Um, Started getting like some clients through that and getting paid monthly revenue. One of my white label partners wanted me to just take over their whole growth team because I was booking them meetings for them. So I agreed to do that, and I became like the head of growth for their company. Um, just did a bunch of different outreach on a bunch of different offers, and then that was the company that just they had some internal disputes and then just like fell apart.
Yeah. And that was the point where you kind of felt like, okay, something new kind of needs to happen, and you kind of needed to figure out another way to make money.
Yeah, so like a bit before that was happening, I was like on Twitter kind of seeing this like lead generation agency kind of stuff. And only recently did I really realize that my skill set was like lead generation and
Yeah,
that like this was like a business model where like I didn't have to just work for one person. I could like do the same thing at scale for a bunch of different companies who need it on like good offers. So I was like exploring that a little bit. That's when I started. I joined your group, and I was like joining your calls and talking to you guys. You guys are giving me some advice about stuff, what to do at my agency that I was working at. Um, and then seriously considered starting my own agency. So it ended up being good, like super perfect timing that these guys actually just like uh, shut down their agency and you guys ended up starting your one-on-one program at the same time. So um, I was already I made the decision at that point like this is the way to go, and um, I can say now definitely was the right choice. I feel pretty lucky.
yeah. So let's speak about that. So you basically joined the program 2.5 months ago, and we very quickly, like, you can probably speak on that a little bit, but we very quickly got your campaigns up and running. We got you the offer that you had to run, the scripts ready, the right website, whatever it was. And you started booking meetings. But what happens after that?
After I started booking meetings, um, well, it's getting on the calls with people and
Yeah,
doing the actual meetings, which I never did before. Like the whole reason kind of that I got into like doing the stuff I was doing before is because I didn't want to do any calls with people. I was not like the salesperson. I just
yeah,
wanted to like, use text channels and all these other sort of avenues to book the meetings and then not have to talk to these people, handle the service delivery, all that sort of stuff. So that was completely new to me.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, like you guys helped me out. Like you got on a meeting with me for like 2 hours uh Sunday, like very late at night your time, and walked me through how to do the sales calls. Um and actually was not that bad.
Not that bad. So you kind of regret like taking down the path of saying, I don't want to do the sales calls because I mean the salespeople is always the people that can make the most amount of money, right?
I feel like the sales part is like the most important skill set and the most important thing to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
And
And it's not too bad once you get on a few calls, right?
if you like know the framework of what to do, um, and you have a good offer, like it's really not that bad. There's not many ways you can screw it up, especially
Yeah.
if you have like a pitch deck. Like the actually like the intro calls, like the discovery calls, are I find is more difficult than the actual sales calls
Yeah,
because the
100%.
sales calls I just like go everything, and those guys who got on the second call, they're already like interested in having their problem solved. So um it's not hard to really do those. It's the discovery calls. Um, and just the more like when you have a packed calendar, it's complete and like clients already, it's completely different. Like the game pretty much changes because you're half the time you're like, I don't like you go from being desperate to every single client to being like, I don't even know if I want to work with this guy.
Yeah,
And they can kind of feel it in that attitude. And the less desperate you are, like the more they want to work with you. Um, which is the funny thing. Um, so the call's not really so bad. Definitely should not have avoided it, and I'm definitely gonna like prioritize getting better at the sales part because I feel like that is the number one thing. Yeah.
got it. But yeah, Nate, talk to us. So what has the results been so far working with us? Only after 2.5 months.
Yeah. So 2.5 months, I got seven seven clients. Um,
Insane.
so
Absolutely insane.
it is insane. And we kind of started I started on the program like at the peak of vacation season. Um, so everyone was like going away on vacation. So I did like these like 2 weeks of like packed calendar full of calls trying to get my first client because um like when I joined this program, um I like put everything on my credit card and like I don't have money money for rent or anything like that. I had to go to the bank to open up a line of credit so that I could use that for my rent. But I was just like so confident that this was the way to go based off of my experience. So I was just like fucking hustling the meetings uh nonstop. And these guys were all saying they're interested and want to move forward, but then they would just like not respond for a while. So then I was still like booking more meetings, trying so hard to close everyone. And I had like so many verbal agreements, but nobody was signing the contract and stuff like that. And I was having like a breakdown pretty much. I reached out to you guys, like I felt like so crushed.
Yeah.
And then it came around to like maybe like a week after that, all these guys just like randomly started signing these contracts and paying them. And it just like notified me in my inbox like all at the same time. And it went from 1 week having a breakdown of like, oh, all these guys are saying they want to work with me. But they're not signing the contract. What's going on? To the next week, like, oh my god, I have like 8 clients, not eight, but like I have all these clients telling me they want to get started right away. How am I going to onboard them? How am I going to do this? So like the
Yeah.
problem immediately went from how do I get more clients to how do I deal with all these clients?
Yeah, not a bad problem to have.
No.
Especially not after going from increasing the credit to paying for rent to all of a sudden just running a business with fucking 7 clients and just about now it's not about the money anymore, but it's just about how do I deliver insane results for these type of clients, right?
Yeah. So like huge roller coaster ride these past 2.5 months. Like crazy ups and downs and different situations having to deal with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
But definitely happy you made the decision to kind of start the lead gen agency.
of course that is the goal, right? Like that is the problem you want to have to go from like how do I get clients to like how do I deal with all these people who want to work with me. Like I have my outreach campaigns turned off because um like I just want to focus on the delivery and getting the
Yeah.
results for these clients. Like I know that I could just like click the start button on the campaigns and then just start getting interested leads
Yeah.
anytime, which is it just makes you more at least comfortable um and confident, especially once you've like signed all the clients and stuff like that. Like I feel like based off the experience I'm completely different mentally from where I was 2 months ago. um so yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. Like, I know it's a very cliche kind of question, but like, how has your business or maybe like personal life kind of changed in these 2.5 months from where you were before and to where you're at right now?
Well, until you actually like get clients like signed and paid for your business, I don't think you really feel like a business owner. You feel like a somebody trying to run a business, right?
Yeah,
Now I actually have like a business, and like I have the experience of knowing like I can do sales calls, I can do the outreach, I can get people to sign and pay the contract. I can, set up the campaigns, onboard them, and stuff like that. So just um, just the confidence and everything that comes with actually doing it versus like knowing what to do is completely different, right? Because you can know exactly step by step, like you just got to do this, like send the emails, book the calls, do the meetings, stuff like that. But you don't actually believe that it's possible for you. At least I did not really 100% believe it until I actually did it, and then did it over and over again, right? And it happened in such a
yeah,
short time, um, that it just completely changed my attitude, um, towards how business works in general. Like just so many different experiences in the last 2.5 months, because like I never got on calls with like big tech CEOs and stuff like that, negotiating deals, and and you know trying to like sell people using sales tactics, and actually have them working and seeing like what works
yeah,
when I say things this way versus when I say things this way, and even having the feeling of like um legitimately being like very, I would say maybe like detached and not desperate for a client or stuff like that. Um, Compared to, when you're at the beginning, people say, "Oh, just don't be desperate."
yeah,
People feel that, and it's like, okay, well, it's hard to really just fake that.
yeah, 100%. You can't do it before like you actually have some clients. Like it has to be genuine, right?
Yeah. So like in terms of like my attitude to everything, it's, I think you need to go through the experiences of doing everything. You can't just like know on a theoretical level. You got to have the firsthand uh experience, and I think it it makes like a huge difference. Like you can have two people doing the same thing, one has like the firsthand experience, they both have the same knowledge, and the one who has like the firsthand experience will always win, I think.
Yeah, but the program has definitely been a positive return on investment.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I want to touch on a little bit because you've been running a SMA like the traditional agency that a lot of the, I guess you could call them gurus, kind of preach. The Facebook ads agency, for example, that basically every single guru wants you to run, right? Can you maybe speak a little bit about the difference between running an SMA agency compared to this lead gen outbound prospecting agency that we are running, and why it's so different and why it's, I guess, so much easier to get started with?
I think just like the ads agency, the business model for beginners just sucks. Like it's very difficult to actually get started for a couple reasons. And first of all, it's like it is the one that everyone preaches to do, so it's like super fucking saturated.
Yeah.
If people like even like when you're doing the outreach, if you even mention like paid ads or any of that stuff in outreach, I think that just like kills kills the offer right away. Like you can't get anyone on a call by pitching them like Facebook ads or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of like even trick them to get on the call, and then when they get on the call, you gotta like bury them with case studies, niche specific case studies and stuff like that, which you don't have if you're a beginner. And the other thing is, um, how the payment model works for SMMA. Usually either do like a retainer or a retainer plus ad spend or revenue generated or something like that. And that's a really hard sell to a business owner unless you've like really convinced them beforehand, like they're sold on the idea of ads, you have like so many case studies. Maybe they've watched your content and they believe that you can do it for their specific niche, which as a beginner, you won't be able to do that. Like it's just such a so many like hoops and gaps you have to jump through in order to get to the point where anyone would even trust to sign an agreement where they're spending the money on the ads and risking all that sort of stuff. Whereas the lead gen agency, you could do a pay per meeting deal, right? And then the ROI is pretty much clear. Like you could do the math with them on the call right there. Like, okay, I'm going to charge you $200 per call. If your closing rate is around average 20%, then you can just do the math there. 2K
Yeah,
for a new client. How much is the lifetime value on that? Like it's
exactly.
very clear. And then you can offer guarantees, like they pay you after the meeting um is qualified, all sorts of stuff like that. So um and it just it makes more sense, right? If you're gonna be like actually delivering results for businesses and generating value, then that's a much safer play, especially if you're just trying to establish a relationship. And that makes much more sense, especially like I know you guys kind of do like the lead gen thing and then use that as a relationship builder, establish that you can deliver results and then later do the paid ads.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
my problem with the paid ads, not that paid ads don't work. I think they work. The problem is you can't get clients for that as a beginner because there's no way you can bridge the trust gap without all these case studies. And so I think
Yeah,
it
exactly. Like
makes so much more sense.
it's hard to come on a sales call with a person you've never met before without any case studies and tell them, look, you're gonna pay me $5,000 a month, and you're also gonna need to do $15,000 in ad spend every single month. So that's a total of $20,000. And I want you to trust me that I'm gonna run it and I'm gonna be successful with it, even though you don't know me and I don't have any case studies. Like it's a very, very hard sell, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why like I stopped doing it because I was like, this doesn't really make sense. It feels like I'm I'm like scamming people.
Yeah, exactly. And it also ties back to the other point that you had earlier in the call. It's like you can maybe get the meetings and you can maybe get the client if you are confident on the sales call enough, and you are grinding it out for 5, 6 months and you finally get that one client. But then when you get that one client, you have no idea how to actually do the service.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas with outbound prospecting, like you can maybe touch on that a little bit, but like it's the same service, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's like it to me it makes sense like if you're gonna like offer some sort of lead generation service and the way that you get your leads should be the same way, right?
Yeah.
So like the way that I am getting my own leads is the same exact thing we're doing for the clients. So like the proof is right there. Like you're on a call because you opened my email
Yeah,
to get
exactly.
on a call with me, right? It's not like you opened up like a advertisement on Facebook and then booked in a call with me and I'm pitching you LinkedIn outreach or whatever, right?
Exactly. Yeah. All right, brother. Amazing shit. Some last questions here, like why did you decide to put the trigger on this program? Like, what was it that made you decide that it was us that you wanted to work with?
Yeah, so I mean, I follow a lot of guys on Twitter basically to learn stuff about lead generation. Um and I just kind of like look at people's, people give out free content, stuff like that. Um and I just like look and compare different programs, what these guys are doing, what those guys are doing. Considered quite a few, but it seemed to me that what you guys are doing made the most sense um, from my own experiences of like how to actually generate meetings and stuff like that. And then I joined like the um, lead degens community,
The community, yeah.
um, and there's like a lot of there's just a lot of guys giving out like tons of value all the time, specifically for lead generation. Um, so basically, based on those factors, I was like, these guys seem to know their stuff and actually be in the trenches. Um, and a lot of these other guys, like I feel like their lead generation agencies are maybe like a bit out of touch. Like um their strategies are kind of like not so um they're not like on the cutting edge of stuff, right? Like people in the degens community are always coming up with like new ideas, new strategies, discussing things about what works, what doesn't. And a lot of these other communities I felt like is a bit shallow. Um and I think one of the main things was I kind of realized how important sales was. And uh you were always talking a lot about like, doing the emails and stuff like that is good, but everyone does that. But really what you need to be doing is like calling up the interested leads on the phone, right? And I was thinking like that actually makes a lot of sense. Like other people aren't doing that. And I feel like that is because everyone is everyone's afraid to do calls, like
Yeah.
including me. But I was like, okay, yeah, it's something I don't want to do, but it is what I think is going to get the most results. So I was like, this makes most sense. This guy's booking meetings. He's know what he's doing. All these other guys in the community know what they're doing. So I'm joining this program. Yeah.
100%. And describe working with us. Like, where do you feel like you're getting the most value out of working with us? Why do you feel like um I guess why did you feel like you couldn't just get the free resources, and what kind of made you get the exponential growth that you've been having by working with us?
Yeah, so obviously like you guys just give a bunch of resources and stuff out, which is like pretty much all you need to know and start in terms of like actually starting the lead generation agency. Like it's not really any like special um new hidden knowledge that you guys give in the program. The main thing is the one-on-one support. Because I definitely don't think I would be where I am at right now, like such a drastic change in 2.5 months, if I didn't have the one-on-one support with you guys, where every time there's a problem or anything like I'm worried about or wondering about to do this or that, I just reach out to you guys and you guys tell me, and I just do it because I know you guys have been there, done that, and you have the experience. And that just exponentially increases the speed that you can work at, right?
Yeah,
Because like I could pretty much go all gas no brakes because I know you guys will help me if I start to go off the rails and things go crazy. So
yeah,
um it just it that was like the biggest thing, is like the one like for example like the sales calls of sure I would have figured it out, but without you like getting on the call with me and showing me like one-on-one how to do the sales and stuff like that, um I would not have been able to close all these clients so quickly.
awesome, brother.
Yeah.
And last question: how likely are you to recommend us to someone else? Why should someone listening right now kind of take action on this?
um well, if you're trying to start like an agency, one of the most important skills I think is like sales and generating leads, because if you got that down, then it doesn't matter what kind of product you sell. And the it's also good because the skill that you're developing in order to get your own clients is the same thing that you're offering to the clients. So I think it's like the easiest offer to sell, to scale up quickly. It's super in demand because everyone has problems. Not everyone, but a lot of people have problems getting more clients. And so it's just the best model, in my opinion, for a beginner, because the skill you're learning is a skill that you're giving to the clients that you're delivering for them. Um, you can make the offer so that it's no risk on their part, so you're not like scamming people. Um, it's super in demand, and yeah. that's pretty much it. Like, I don't think, because if you want to start a Facebook ads agency, you're going to be doing a lead generation agency for the first year anyway. So
Yeah.
you're going to be doing your own lead generation agency. So
Yeah. You're basically just cutting corners, right?
yeah, and you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. You're gonna slow yourself down. Um, it it just doesn't work. Like, this is lead generation agency, I think is one of the best, and it's one of the best skills to know. So I would recommend it to myself if I could go back in time, and I would definitely recommend it as a model for people wanting to start an agency from scratch, get into the space. If you want to do something else, different products, stuff like that later, um, definitely go for it. And you're going to be able to do that quicker than if you had just started from that at the beginning, I think.
100%, brother. Well, guys, that's everything that we got from Nate. 0 to, what was it, 16,000 dollars, something like that, something crazy.
Yeah. American. I'm Canadian, but it's
American,
American money, so
American hard
it's a bit
cash
better.
dollars, a little bit better. Amazing, brother. Well, that's it for this. I'm gonna stop the recording.